Australian made and owned, HALTECH Oils is one of the largest oil blenders in Australia with a truly national profile, supplying an extensive range of oils, coolant, grease, batteries and much more for all businesses and consumer needs. Choose HALTECH Oils for peace of mind.
On today's show, we head to Sydney Motorsport Park for the 10th anniversary edition of the Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. It's the ultimate battle of brute horsepower and the clock in pursuit for that one perfect lap. Then we head to the UK and to the Croft Circuit in Yorkshire for rounds 10 to 12 of the British Touring Car Championship. This is Speedweek.
Welcome to Sydney Motorsport Park, the inaugural home of the Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. Down here in the pits, I'm JARROD McLean with AIMEE UPSON, and AIMEE, the vibe is incredible, isn't it?
It's absolutely electric today. Obviously, we're celebrating the 10th year of World Time Attack, and it's amazing to see the crowds fill up the pits here today, coming down to see some big names. Obviously, there's some major changes, which is seeing the biggest class ever across Pro and Pro-Am, allowing cars to double entry and those owner drivers to take a chance at the wheel on the track here today.
The word on everyone's lips right now, what can RP968 do to shake the earth this time at the 2019 World Time Attack Challenge?
Absolutely. This is a car that is already making moves. Last year it was the overall winner. This year it's set to do that once again. Their off-season development saw some major changes to the suspension setup. We're hoping to see some times that not only set records for World Time Attack, but the overall world record here for Eastern Creek.
We're also looking at the MCA Hammerhead. Andre Heimgartner, our very own V8 Supercars ace, looking to stamp his name into the storied history of the seat of that car. Stay tuned because there is so much more to come here from Yokohama's World Time Attack Challenge.
Thanks, J-Mac. Sydney Motorsport Park, the iconic Sydney Motorsport Park, the iconic World Time Attack Challenge. International visitors from all over the place here. And in its 10th year, I'll tell you what, 10 years of commentary. Chris Diggles here with you. And the man himself, CEO of SUPERLAP Australia and World Time Attack, Ian Baker. 10 years.
10 years, Chris. Who would have thought when we started back in Oran Park in 2008, you know, and with 10 years of World Time Attack at Sydney Motorsport Park, it's just incredible.
Well, let's just go back 12 months to the fastest lap here. The first ever sub-minute 20 by a tin top driven by this guy, Barton Mawer, the RP968 Porsche. It was an incredible lap last year. Minute 19, and was amazing.
Mate, this car has just been so far ahead of the game in recent years. You know, it was always going to happen. They had a very long development program, and finally last year it came to fruition.
Yes, minute 19 last year. What will be in store this year in 2019? George MIDDECKE finds out.
Well, welcome to World Time Attack 2019, and I'm here with the reigning king of Sydney Motorsport Park and 2018 champion Barton Mawer. Mate, that was an unreal lap. We've just seen the onboard footage, but my view is the horse is only as good as its last race. So what have you got for us this year?
Yeah, it's a good point and good question. So basically, PR Technology have gone to town. They've cut the front and rear off this car since last year. We had a bit of fatigue issues with the front rail, so they've refabricated the whole front end, rear end. We've dropped and lowered the engine. It's actually been the biggest changes to the car since it was built. So they haven't rested on their laurels, and unfortunately, yesterday was the first day we've actually been able to test the car since last year. So we're in the tuning phase, and really even today we're going to be just tuning, trying to hopefully get to the ultimate time by tomorrow.
Well, he's certainly going to be having to watch his back, because this is the man that everyone's come to see under Suzuki, the Scorch Racing S15, new chassis underneath it, the first time the car's actually ever looked like an absolute roll out of the container threat. Big horsepower, big speed, big aero. This car was on an absolute mission in testing, but then this happened. Huge accident right on Brabham, straight at over 250k an hour. Ian Baker, that's gut-wrenching.
Chris, I can tell you, I was standing right in front of it, and to watch it happen before my eyes was just, beyond emotional. But the good news is, I went and picked him up 3 hours later from the hospital, and he apologised to me, and then he turned around and said, my God, this car's fast now. So, the car can be repaired. Human body's a lot harder. He's going to be back. He's got that warrior spirit.
A bit of unfinished business for Suzuki Under. Can't wait for 2020 and beyond. The HALTECH Club Sprint class. Let's tell you about this one. Minor body and aero mods allowed. Unlimited engine mods. Engine must be the same brand as factory, and it must be the same number of cylinders as factory. No sequential transmissions. Must run the Advan Neo R Control tyre. And let me tell you, Ian, what a great class. Don't they just continue to turn up every year, our competitors?
Chris, I can tell you, these guys take it as serious as the guys in pro class, and every year there's guys stepping up the game. A lot of these cars have been testing here regularly. I've seen them out here, and like I say, they take this thing very seriously. They come from all around Australia.
And every sort of platform's represented in here as well. It's not necessarily a four-wheel drive platform domination. We're seeing plenty of rear-wheel drive cars and front-wheel drive cars be very competitive. And let me tell you, it wasn't decided until pretty much the end of the whole event as to who was going to be on the podium.
Yeah, this is on board with Brett Dickie, the reigning Club Sprint class champion. Hondas have actually been quite dominant in this class over the past few years, Chris.
Yes, nice lightweight. Oh, there's the absolute opposite of nice lightweight. Yes, how about that? The Hyundai iMAX car running in HALTECH Club Sprint. Now, this is unheard of, but here it is, a people mover.
Chris, I can tell you, that car broke the internet when they released it here. They've kept it under wraps and released it here at the event on the Friday, and the webs went mad that a car manufacturer has done this type of thing. It's just, they are so in touch with their fans, that company.
And let me tell you, it's good to see Hyundai with the factory deal in there. And even if it is a people mover, it can take plenty of people around. But let me tell you, Brett Dickie, as you said, in the Honda, quite a dominant thing. Nice lightweight, decent power, but hey, these Evos are quick too.
Now that's an interesting one there. It's the Shinka Evo. They've done, as our 10-year anniversary, they've done a tribute to the Cyber Evo. I thought that was fantastic.
Oh boy, tell you what, pushing so hard, true, on the hundo, and just goes to prove just how much commitment, even in the HALTECH Club Sprint category, these guys take it very, very seriously indeed. Dickie was still very dominant, getting back down into the minute 30s, a minute 38.824. Ben Schutz, a minute 39.695. Jamal Assad, Nick Spartan-Callis and Trent Grubel round out the top five, and there's a hell of a lot of different platforms even just in that top five. GCG Turbos, open class. And let me tell you, this is where we step it up a little bit. You do have some restrictions on body and aero. Side and rear windows can be lax. And of course, unlimited engine mod. Sequential trans, must run the Advan AO50 control tyre. Pro drivers allow minimum weight 1227 plus or minus 15%. They can really step it up in this class, Ian Baker.
I tell you, Chris, we've seen some serious investment in this class over the past few years, and these guys are, they take it every bit as serious as the big guys too, and they love racing against in this class. They love racing against the big guys.
Oh, the Albans action replay. Matt Longhurst, True Armando, and the 34 GDR took a big moment there. Snapped back, went for a little bit of gardening, and you wouldn't say that splitter isn't full of gravel and human nature. I tell you, that is absolutely 100% commitment. So is this one. Brad Shields in the Extreme GDR R32. Insane horsepower, and of course our friend Sachia-san driving Bay H's amazing 86. He's happy to be back again, isn't he, Ian?
You know what, Chris? He loves this event. He loves coming here. He loves being a part of it. He loves the Australian fans, and he loves his car, I tell you. And every year, Bo Yates steps up to the plate and makes it better for him. And yeah, I think it's a part of his repertoire now.
Oh, look, this is an insane car as well. V8 on board the Toyota 86. We've got a nice little bit of audio just then. And, of course, even the MRS Toyota in there. Not really near the top, but definitely, oh, boy, variety everywhere, including drama.
Tarzan Yamada, that is. Off the track.
Oh, boy, Tarzan.
Another one of our Japanese entries.
And at one stage there, it was Yamada and Tsuchiya close to each other on the in the open category list.
This is another interesting car, Chris. This is a new build. JARROD Mags, he's been a long-time supporter, and they've just built it's a brand new build in that car, and I think they haven't had time to test it, but it's going to be a big player in the future. Well,
Matty Longhurst, plenty of commitment all throughout each session, but look, problems here for the R34. Gee, if he wasn't going through Armando at 200 plus K now, having it off. He's had a few other little issues there. That billet blocked RB looking fantastic and standing great. Brad Shields, Matt Longhurst, Rob Newen, Nick Bates and Stephen Johnson, the top 5 so far on the Garmin leaderboard. The HighOctaneDirect.com Pro-Am class, and Ian, this is where we can have these wild cars, but we can't have pro drivers.
Yeah, and for the first time this year, we're running we're allowing cars to double enter, and it means they can enter in the Pro and the Pro-Am class, meaning that the owner of the car can actually drive in Pro-Am, and they put a pro driver in the Pro class to see how fast it can actually go.
Yeah, it's a great concept because we've seen a truly international lineup in the Pro-Am class. Here's some early footage there from the Ginetta. Now, I've never seen a Ginetta before. Now, here's Bando's son. This is one incredible car that you saw over in Scuba and said, we've got to get Bando's son over here.
Very exciting car, 1,200 horsepower, not what you'd expect to see in time attack racing at Sora, but in actual fact, it's a very aerodynamic car.
Plenty of horsepower from that 2JZ, and Bando's son was very fast. So was the
Gustav.
Yeah, Gustav, the Swedish team, the Revline racing car, built in his own garage, 3-litre Porsche 4-cylinder, very, very competitive.
Steve FAULKS, another long-time competitor who's had a few years off, but back in Pro-Am, Queensland-based competitor.
And, of course, Cole Powelson, the Life Motorsport, double-ended as well. We've got the Chair Slayer in there, of course, Rob Parsons, and already the guys from Utah had plenty of experience.
And here we are on board, Chris, with the car. A lot of people are waiting to see the Audi R8 1-to-1 from Finland. Semi-7, and the second time he's been here, this guy is as passionate as hell about this type of sport. And, they've put a brand new car in, and with very little testing, but they're game on to go.
It is just one of the wildest things you will see around here. Hey, the R35 from Utah ain't no slouch either. Trying to get into the minute 20-something to set the R35 record again. And what do you say about the Revline Racing 968? Just when we thought we had one of the baddest 968s in the world, there's another one in Sweden, just as tough.
Yeah, that's an Andrew Brilliant design car, Chris, that one. And Gustav was out here in 2017. He planned on bringing it out in 2018, and unfortunately his mother was very ill, so we put it off for another year, and here he is.
Yeah, there's Kosta Purakov. Of course, Tilton Interiors in the Pro-Am category. In fact, went out there and topped the leaderboard early, minute 26.324. Sammy Sievenin, minute 29.17 from the Audi. And Kunihiko Bando, a minute 29.272, the top 3. Pernini and Gustav Bergström round out the top 5. You want commitment? We'll give you commitment. The Royal Purple Pro Class. Composite carbon materials allowed. All windows can be lax and unlimited engine mods, paddle shift transmissions, pro drivers, minimum weight 1,200 kilogram, must run the Advan A050 control tyre. Nitrous oxide also is allowed in. They swing for the fences, and this car, what an absolute pin-up. And here we go, of course, Alex Danielsson now driving the 968 from Sweden. Of course, test driver in Formula One. And here we go to Andre Heimgartner. All the pro drivers, Ian, they've just got gobs of talent, and the car's just gobs of power and aero.
Yeah, you can certainly see the difference when, a guy that does it for a living gets in there. You're talking many seconds difference in pace, and it's really exciting to see them push the limits of these cars.
Cole Powelson, of course, the Life Motorsport R35. Barton Mawer, the RP968, flat out through Armando, and look, a couple of times, and this time too. He arrived very fast through Armando, couldn't pull it up in turn 2. The action replay will go on board. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, I believe they were testing different settings on the ABS there. I spoke to some of the engineers after that happened, and he said, yeah, they just pushed it too far with the settings. But the Bosch ABS allows you to modulate that, so they have full control. They were just pushing the limit there, and I'm sure that it's a turn of a dial to fix that.
Well, Barton said they were going to be doing some tuning and trying a few things. The Tilton Evo, after a monstrous rebuild, Costa said after, of course, the incident he had with the car the previous year, put Garth Walden back in it, and it was quick.
Mate, there's not many people that have done more laps than this around this circuit than Garth Walden, you know. This is his home track, and yeah, Barton very, very tough through Corporate Hill there. Paddle shift back through turn 8. Rear-wheel drive car, she's got to get all that power down from here. Let's go on board and have a little bit of a listen to 4 litres of billet 4-cylinder down the main straight here. Slight roll-off through Armando, and look at that, a little bit of drama early on there for RP968. Pulling over after that flying lap, and a little bit of smoke out from under the bonnet. I hope that's not too critical. Barton Mawer still minute 20, 2:14. Andre Heimgartner in the Hammerhead, minute 22.662. Garth Walden, the Royal Purple Tilton Interiors Evo in third. And Alex Danielson, Ian Baker, minute 25.616. That's incredible. Chris, this guy's never even seen this circuit before. He's turned up here, fresh off the boat, fresh off the plane, and he's done a 1:25.6. Like a few short years ago, that would have won the event.
Well, Friday, didn't it just dish out the action? Hold on to your hats. We've got Saturday's footage coming up shortly, including all the crazy antics from Midday Mayhem. It's the Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Glorious conditions here at Sydney Motorsport Park. It's Saturday. It's time for the big dance. Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. Ian Baker, looks fantastic.
Chris, this is the day everyone sets their engines to 11, everything to 11, and it's game on. We've got sunshine, we've got fans flocking through the gates. It's the day.
And there's no better way to get up close and personal with World Time Attack than the pit walk.
Down here with George. George, this is just another level of awesomeness for the fans. Because let's face it, this isn't for the drivers. I'm sure they enjoy it, but the fans get so much out of this.
Absolutely, mate. World Time Attack's unique in the fact that we let the punters in. You know, we get everyone close to the cars, and James over there is going to hit the boom gate now for us and let the crowd in. You know, it's all about getting up close to your favourite cars. It's all about getting up close to your favourite drivers. And these are for some people, these are cars that they've seen on TV for years. You know, they're something that they've been cheering for and rooting for. And there'll be drivers up and down here, so you get to shake hands with the people. As you can see, the crowd starting to move in from the boom gate as well.
It's one thing to see them flying past at 250k an hour, but sometimes you just need to get up close and personal, Ian.
This is a big part of our show, Chris. This is all about fan engagement. You know, we want people to go and see and talk and feel and touch and ask the questions and be a part of the show.
And they certainly do that in their droves. It gives that great opportunity. I think we let nearly an hour go by where they can do it. And of course, the autograph sessions as well. The lineup just continues to get longer and longer. All of our heroes are there.
You know, the Japanese guys are quite astonished by this, because in Australia they're like rock stars, these guys. Some of them back home, you know, they never get this back in Japan. So it's quite amazing. There's Christian Hansen, my friend that was former marketing manager of Yokohama Tire, and the guy that started with me, he manages my stage these days. Big thanks, CT.
Look at that, Tsuchiya Sun, Barton Mawer, Tarzan Yamada. We had under Suzuki and Bando-san. Now the Turbo Smart Flying 500 Workshop Battle. It's Sydney Motorsport Park, but not as we know it. We're going flying over 500 metres. Who's got the fastest machine? Well, we had a variety of machines this year, Ian.
Chris, that was fantastic. Honda entered their NSX, you know, just as a marketing ploy, and what a car, you know.
An amazing supercar, the latest generation NSX. And you go from one extreme to the other. Christian Gulby, 1JZ powered Toyota Corolla station wagon, drove it from Toowoomba in Queensland.
Incredible, isn't it?
I think it went about 230 plus k an hour over the 500. Pretty impressive for the wagon. And so many tough Euro cars there as well.
And you know what? This is just such a representation. These are all Turbo Smarts customers. They're all running their gear. You know, it's just incredible.
Audis with parachutes on the back. What does the world come to? The Baghdad. It's been here a few times before. It's easily gone over 250 several times. Listen to the horsepower.
Former champion. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely tearing up the Brabham straight here. And this man, if we get the extra coverage here, if this is the R35 Skyline.
2,000 horsepower, Chris.
It is Lance Warren. He has reset the bar at the Turbo Smart Flying 500 at 291 kilometres an hour.
Hey guys, I am down here with Honda and this absolutely spectacular life-size replica of the Honda Civic. Now tell me a little bit about this car. How did this all come about?
It came about as part of our relationship with Lego Masters. So in partnership with them, we created a life-size replica of the Honda Civic Type R.
I mean, mathematically, a lot of would have gone into this, ensuring that the load was even across it. I know it weighs more than 1,000 kilos.
They used CAD data from us and created a blueprint of their own and then built it up layer by layer over the course of 1,300 hours.
And whereabouts is this vehicle taking you? I'm sure there's a lot of people wanting to get their hands all over it and have it out there doing promo work. How's that been?
So we've been taking it around the Westfield shopping centres all around the country, as well as Comic-Con and PAX, and then here today at World Time Attack.
Well, I bet you there's a lot of little kids and big kids that are loving to get their hands on that Lego set. Talk about big kids. It's the Garrett Advancing Motion Drifting Cup demo, Ian, and there's a time of letting them get loose around the circuit just for that midday mayhem.
Yeah, Chris, this all really ramps up after hours tonight, but, you know, this is just a sample of what's going to go on. These guys are bananas, I can tell you. They're going into corners at, 160, 180 kilometres an hour and then flicking it sideways. It's next level craziness.
And truly international drifting field this year. We've got them from Japan, New Zealand, China even. Oh, look, twin turbo V8s, you name them, we've got them. There is maybe even still the odd four-cylinder out there, but it's hard to find. But gee, this is an opportunity where they get to drift the whole circuit. Of course, they'll be doing the South Circuit at night, but during Midday Mayhem. Oh, speaking of Midday Mayhem, this was a great thing, the TOUGE battle.
This is something that it was actually my concept, Chris, and I approached Toyota Australia about it and said, can we get a couple of Supras, and we're going to wrap them up in old Super GT library, and we're going to put a couple of heroes into. Under Suzuki was supposed to drive in the overcar, but he was under doctor's orders not to drive, so we put Tarzan and Suchiya in there, and these lucky ride winners got the ride of their life. I'm sure they're never going to forget it.
All they did was buy their tickets online to get in the draw, and look what they're doing. They're in with an absolute legend.
Absolutely, and you know what? This is a show for the fans. Look at these libraries are iconic, and it's a brand new car, and these two guys are going to throw them around like no one else.
Thank you, Toyota Australia, and hopefully you don't see this footage. But even if they do, these cars have gone up in value by just having the drivers in the seats. And turn 8, very, very good to get some action here. Absolutely lucky, blessed to not only have a car going down Brabham Straight with the same name, the BD62, and an amazing coup. How'd you get this? How'd you snapple this?
Well, Chris, for us it's a perfect match. It's an Australian-made hypercar, and it's built for track days, and we're pretty much the world's biggest track day, I guess you could say. So, yeah, the guys jumped at the chance to come and showcase this amazing car, and you just got to see it and hear it in person. It's on another level.
Let's have a bit of a listen through these corners. I do believe this thing's headed for Le Mans, Ian.
I believe that's the next plan for this car. Is Will Powell, the guy that's driving here, and David Brabham will be campaigning Brabham B62 at Le Mans. So amazing to see an Australian icon back in that great race.
An absolute treat for everyone that was in attendance. Looking at this, an amazing creation. The Brabham BD62 tearing around with passengers at Sydney Motorsport Park. Tell you what, if you like treats, we've got treats for you, Ian, and again, you just love going to the next level with this stuff at World Time Attack.
Well, we're all about aero, really, aren't we, Chris? And look at this, this guy is on another level.
Matt Hall, of course, winner of the Red Bull Air Racing, is a champion of that. He did some amazing things here. I call it plane drifting or aerobatics, but he really had everyone's necks crinking back at 90 degrees watching all of his different shenanigans. We couldn't call them, there were too many of them, but he was doing some death-defying stunts. You talk about G's going around Sydney Motorsport Park on the ground, pulling him through the air at, 14 plus, and just some of these things he was doing, stalling the plane up like that, pure hang time, and just letting it dance. And look, everyone was in absolute awe.
Yeah, he's got it on a string, hasn't he, Chris? You know, it's incredible. And you know, like I said, this guy's the best in the world, so that's what you're going to get, a show like that. It's just amazing. And what an Australian icon.
Oh, well, let's get ourselves firmly planted back on the ground for a bit of HALTECH Club Sprint. Of course, these cars, a lot of them still got the licence plates on them as well. You still be a street car in.
Yeah, a lot of them are. You know, that's the thing. This class really started as a street car class, and at the pointy end, it's developed into a really competitive class of racing. But there's a lot of the guys that still, you know, keep the roots firmly at the bottom end of keeping it as a street car.
And definitely pushing as hard as you want to push yourself, as the Z32 300ZX proved to us just then. Here's Griffin in the NSX.
You know, that's a very rare car in Australia these days, the first generation NSX, and it's great to see it out on the track. You know, it really looks at home there.
Of course, even a four-door Skyline, the GTS Skyline out there. Well, where was he going? Going off to pick up the kids or do something here, I don't know, but oh boy, they did always push their limits. You didn't just have to look at Pro-Am or Open to see people pushing the limit. They were pushing them even in Club Sprint.
And you know, it's the real diversity of these cars. There's Jaden Maggs, you know, it's JARROD that owns WBT Skylines, his son.
Oh, Stephen won with this. You see the BYP Honda. This was going to be a real hot contender, and that's no pun intended, but looks like he had all sorts of dramas there. He was definitely going to be a player there, but had a few little dramas. And look, how about the old S2000?
It's a very, very strong platform, the S2000.
But in this session, Jamal Assad put the Evos on top, minute 38.614. Brett Dickey in second, minute 38.824. And Nick Spartan Callis, he's back in third, minute 39.276. GCG Turbos Open class. We started to sharpen the pencil in all of our categories, Ian, including this one, all vying for the 5 spots for the SUPERLAP shootout.
Yeah, well, I've been up and down pit lane, Chris, and I can tell you all these guys have now said, this is it, today's the day. All the dials are going up to 11 and it's game on. The gloves are coming off.
Oh, Stephen Johnson on camera right now. And this 33 Skyline showed so much potential. Wanted to get this thing higher than, I think, third place last year. Kiichi Tsuchiya, more power each year Bo Yates likes to give him, and he loves it, and he was improving as well. The Drift King in the Open category. They were all pushing very, very hard in these Saturday sessions, and no one harder pushing than this man. This screaming RB, Matty Longhurst, look at the front end. Through Armando. Remember what he did yesterday, Ian? He went for a fair plough into turn 2.
Yeah, these guys are just pushing so hard now, Chris. You know, that car's now in its 4th year of development, and you know, it's the real deal. This is another incredible car, Chris. The Dream Projects S15, driven by Rob Newen, formerly known as Mighty Mouse.
You're going to get a new car out on the track, you'd want a guy like Mighty Mouse driving it. Oh, problems for Stephen Johnson, the R33, not getting back to the pits under its own power, so more drama. Well, there's more drama than a Netflix series here in the GCG Turbos Open class. Brad Shields still there, minute 28.219. Matt Longhurst, minute 28.736. Look at that. Rob Newen on debut with that Dream Projects S15, third, minute 29.174. Pro-Am class, thanks to HighOctaneDirect.com. We are on board with the man, Costa, from Tilton Interiors, the Tilton Evo.
Costa the boss, they call him, because he is the boss, and you can see why.
Coming through Armando there. Now remember, he's got all bad flashbacks and memories from there. But look, he's doing pretty well in the Pro-Am category. The RX-7 out there screaming around.
Yeah, Shane Jones, that one. He's a car in a GT Auto Garage.
And look at this. This is Rob Chair Slayer Parsons driving the Life Motorsport R35 GTR. Wheelchair bound, but he flies free when he's got the hand controls on.
What can we say, Chris? This guy, you know, he is a real testament to the never give up spirit.
100%. And look, talk about never give up. The Revline Garage team, they're in there.
Yeah, they've just replaced the head gasket on that car, Chris.
Oh boy, and here's Sammy Seaman now. This is just the wildest Audi I've ever seen.
Isn't it ever? Look
How
at that
much wing is on that? He's even got tethers there on the rear diffusers as well, trying to hold it all down. It's a real visual feast. As is a Ginetta. Never seen a Ginetta until I came to World Time Attack.
Very rare car in Australia, but they're actually a production car, so there was a little bit of controversy, but we did a little bit of research about letting it enter, and yeah, it's a production car, so we can come in.
Oh no, look, problems here. So that's Gustav behind the wheel, the Revline Racing Porsche, pulling up quite quickly and getting towed away. So problems in the drivetrain department, you would assume. But geez, that's not good. Let's have a look at the High Octane Direct Pro-Am class list. Kostya, minute 26.324. Sammy Stevenham in the Audi, minute 29.17. Hey, it's all international. Kunihiko Bando, third, minute 29.272. Now, time to pull down on those harnesses a little bit tighter. Strap yourself in and get ready. Can Barton Mawer do better than minute 19.82 that he ran last year? Here we are on Saturday. Prime conditions. Oh, that's nearly flat through Armando.
Incredible footage, isn't it, Chris?
Oh, he knows his way around this track, Barton. And look, all that tuning they were talking about doing on Friday, here it is on Saturday, as we say, the big dance. Flat through there. Paddle shift down. I mean, the car's absolutely an amazing vehicle. You've got to take your hats off to Barton Mawer. He knows how to get this beast around the place. Oh, look, Garth Walden there on the inside there, just getting out of the way. So was Alex Danielson, so he's still on a fly here.
It really does give you a scope of how fast, incredibly fast this car is when you see the in-car, doesn't it, Chris?
Yes, comes out of turn 8 nice and clean now. Look, minute 19.82 was last year. What can he do there? It's been a fairly clean lap here for Barton, taking up all the space that he needs. As Ian Baker said, he's got the dials turned to 11, all that, well, probably 1,500 plus horsepower if you've got it really wound out, that billet 4-litre. Comes across the line there, looks fantastic. Oh, yes, it is. Minute 19.277 for Barton, and only by a tenth missing out on the complete outright lap record.
And here we go, Tilton's in full song here. Let's see what he can do, Walden.
Whoa, no, what's happened there? Garth Walden, he was on an absolute fly, making big power, and something's come apart on the front guard there, Ian.
Yeah, they had a tyre delaminate on that lap, and unfortunately, that's when you're pushing the limits like this. While everyone seems to be an expert on the levels of downforce they can handle, I've actually spoken to the team about this, and this is more of a power-related issue. And basically, the high horsepower coupled with the track temperature, and he should have only done one lap.
All right, inside with Garth Walden at Tilton Eva. Oh yes, we'll go down to AIMEE in the pits.
Hey, I'm down here with Garth Walden. Hey, Garth, can you tell us a little bit about what happened out there?
Yeah, we tried for another one and it just blew the tyre. Luckily, going into 4, so it was in a straight line, so it could have been a lot worse, I think. But looks like there's a fair amount of damage. We've got a fair few spares, but I don't know what we're going to do for the rest of the day. We'll see. Hopefully the boys can do a miracle and we can get back out there.
I mean, the car was barely finished a couple of days ago anyway, Ian, so there they go. You don't want to be thrashing again on race day.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're pushing the limits like this, Chris, stuff like that's going to happen. I've been down and spoken to the engineers down in the Tilton pit garage, and basically they should have done one lap in this temperature and at the power level they're running, and yeah, they pushed the limit and took a chance.
Well, I mean, the horsepower, the aero, everything in these cars, I mean, it is absolutely cutting edge. You see how close Barton got on that particular corner there, took it out there into the bush a little bit.
Yeah.
And look, sitting in there nice and cool and calm and collected as they do a bit of a systems check. But there's Alex Danielson, and as we said before, Formula One test driver.
He's driven a bit of everything, this guy. He's driven in NASCAR, he drives monster trucks, and he's a long way from home from Sweden, I can tell you, but yeah, what a champion. And good stuff as well. Minute
25, unbelievable considering how many laps he's actually seen of Sydney Motorsport Park. The Garmin leaderboard, Barton Mawer, that amazing minute 19.277. Andre Heimgartner, minute 21.867. And Garth Walden did get in a minute 23.856 before all hell broke loose. Plenty more after the break here at Sydney Motorsport Park, including the SUPERLAP shootout. Will all this testing bear the fruit? We'll find out soon. Well, it all comes to a head right here. The SUPERLAP shootout at Sydney Motorsport Park for all of our categories. The weather conditions have changed a little bit. We've had a few showers come in the afternoon. That's going to mix things up, Ian Baker.
Just a sprinkle, Chris. I don't think it's going to be enough to put any water on the track, but it certainly changes the track conditions, that's for sure.
There's the MCA Hammerhead. Can Andre Heimgartner put the Hammerhead back on top? We're on board here with Bando's son. He's getting the big saw ready to go. Cole Powelson from Utah, the Life Motorsport R35 GTR, getting ready for this last ditch at the track. Last ditch effort, isn't it? The SUPERLAP shootout. We're starting with HALTECH CLUBSPRINT, but it's the ability to have one flying lap with no traffic here.
Here comes CONOR FALVEY. It's a BYP built car, Chris. Another one that's bearing road registration. That's almost a hallmark of BYP. They like to keep the street cars, and by God, they build some quick ones.
Well, with these weather conditions slightly changing, some of these guys might be at 110%. Some guys might just be making a formality of it. By the look of that, I think Conor's just getting the lap in. He was fifth outright. Of course, SUPERLAP shootout takes the top five and puts them all out there for one flying lap.
And here's a guy who's been around forever. He's won Club Sprint class for the first ever event in 2010, and he went on to win the Open class in 2011. Nick Callis. They call him the Spartan.
Yeah, well, he's doing pretty well for a comeback of sorts. More of a street-based club sprint car, but it's good to see that he's throwing 110% at it for his final lap of the weekend and goes minute 39.654. I think that will cement him third still, but anything can happen. Well, put it this way, he can't go backwards here. Brett Dickey, all he can do is try and jump on top of Jamal Assad on the time cards here.
Yeah, I think with these changing track conditions, it's going to be tricky in a front-wheel drive car, but look, time will tell.
Very, very strong Honda Integra.
It's a very powerful car, and with all the power going to the front wheels, it's going to be a big ask on a slippery track.
Yeah, so Dickey goes through there and has his crack at it, and here is the man himself. They can't take it away from him. Jamal Assad, all he's got to do, he's got nothing to lose. He can really go and push it harder, but really, he's got the gold.
Yeah, and you know what? He's been here for a few years too, and he's tried so hard. I'll tell you what, this will be a well-deserved win for him. That team, they put everything into it, and yeah, what a champion.
What do you do when you already know that no one's beaten you? Do you go out on this lap and just try and idle it around? I think he's pushing.
He's having a bit of fun, Chris. That's what he's doing. He's having a bit of fun.
Jamal is push, 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 attack, attack, attack. This is what SUPERLAP shootout is all about. No pressure on Jamal Assad whatsoever, just pressure on himself.
Yeah, no, it's really good. They're a family-run team. They run a wrecking business here in Sydney, a spare parts business, and yeah, it's fantastic to see them. Looks like they're going to get the win this year, and congratulations.
Oh, Jamal, pushing it hard down through there. Oh, boy, he's not leaving anything on the table. He's already going to win it, but don't bin it, Jamal. A little bit more conservative now, and I think that is it for Jamal Assad. But look, you've got to take your hats off to him. As you said, Ian, a lot of these guys have come here for many a year, chasing a time attack dream.
And it really is a dream for these guys too, you know. Like I said, he's up in Sector 2, Chris. He's up in Sector 2, so Sector 2 times faster, so you never know.
He's pushing it hard here, Jamal Assad. Oh, Jamal! Oh, we put the kiss of death on him there. He was up in Sector 2. He may or may not have known about it, but geez, you can't say that guy wasn't just making it a formality. He was trying to knock a few more tenths off.
Yeah, like I said, Chris, the track's gone off a bit, I think, so it's quite tricky conditions, you know.
Oh, look, congratulations to Jamal Assad. Unbeaten in the SUPERLAP shootout. The Albans action replay, just as we said, he's up in Sector 2. Jamal tried so hard in the last corner and a half and just, didn't send it all the way around, but certainly pushed it. Let's have a look at the win car here. Let's have a look. Yeah, just big lock-up, I think, there. Big lock-up. It saved it. Kept it all in good condition, and that is the tale of the tape. Jamal Assad is the 2019 HALTECH Club Sprint class winner. Brett Dickey second, Nick Spartan Callis third, Conor FALVEY fourth, and Ben Schutz rounds out the top five. A great category again.
Thank you everyone. It was good, man. Stuffed it up on the last corner, but what do? We turned it up, and we were going quicker, but we tried our best.
Yeah, hear that? Gonna turn it up. Hopefully Bando's son can turn it up for us. HighOctaneDirect.com Pro-Am SUPERLAP shootout. We've had a bit of a shuffle in the top five ranks here. We've had a couple pull out. Tell us about that.
that's the nature of the beast when you're pushing this hard, Chris. These cars are, you know, they're like I said, they're turned up to 11, and Costa and Gustav Revline Racing have both suffered mechanical failures, so we've shuffled the field round and let's see what happens.
Stephen FAULKS, well, looks like in Sector 2 was a pretty good one for him. He comes through on the flying lap, minute 33.580, so 2 good sectors for him. And it's so good to see Stephen FAULKS having a good crack, 1 extra lap for him there. Richard Perini as well, the Ginetta, twin-turbo V6. And look, he's got a few in the stable, Ian. This is the one that he brings out to World Time Attack.
Yeah, this is another one from the PR Technology stable, actually. So he's pitted there with RP968, and he just loves driving, Richard Perini. He's done a lot of stuff, a lot of Targa rallies and all that sort of stuff, and he just loves being a part of World Time Attack.
Finishes off his account with a minute 37.549 in the SUPERLAP shootout. Now we're on board. Kunihiko Bando, 2JZ, 1,000 plus horsepower, Toyota Sora.
You can just see a couple of sprinkles of rain there, Chris. You know, that's going to, while there's no water on the track, it's certainly going to make it a bit slippery. So I don't think we're going to see any records fall now, which is traditionally the fastest time of the day. But unfortunately, you have no control over the weather.
Well, Kunihiko is in the same boat as under Suzuki in a way. He's never been to this track before and run a car around here. He can only really take in the laps he's done since Wednesday. And here he is with these changing conditions, a little bit of moisture on the windscreen there.
Well, Chris, can you imagine 1,200 horsepower with a little bit of a damp track? Like, that'd be one hell of a ride. Another interesting thing with him, Chris, he's a former mechanic of under Suzuki. He's been here a couple of times on Suzuki's team, so it was a bit of a dream for him to come here in his own car, and we've helped make that happen.
And I tell you what, he's been more than welcomed here at Sydney Motorsport Park. He's going to give it one crack here. He's not up in Sector 1, and as you can see, with a little bit of this indifferent track conditions, a little bit damp maybe here, a little bit dry here, but he's certainly pushing hard anyway. Bando-san, one more lap, one more go at it, unleashes hell on the 2JZ. Whoa!
Yeah. Look, you'd have to remember, you know, this is the final thing. He's not going to break any records, so with all due respect, he doesn't want to take the car home in a ball, you know, and that's fair enough too.
It's a hell of a big car too, the Toyota Sora. It's not your ideal time attack weapon, but then again, you could say that about so many different platforms, and you can't knock Kunihiko Bando for building an awesome time attack weapon. It was so good to see it here in Sydney.
You know, speaking to Andrew Breen about that car, he said it's actually one of the more aerodynamic shapes of any of the production cars, which is quite remarkable.
Look, he finishes off with a minute 34.483, and you know, I don't think he got as many laps in as he'd like to, because remember, he's trying to help poor old Under out there. Here's the action replay, and yeah, trying to get all of that 2JZ horsepower down. He caught it nicely. Bando's son, we certainly will not forget your visit in 2019. Not by a long shot. Georgie is down in the pits with the winner.
Thank you very much. It's been a great day. The car, like I said, always, it's been easy to drive. I've been prepping the car, making sure that coming in, the car was always good for Garth to do a lap.
There he is, the man that took home the high-octane Direct.com Pro-Am class. Costa, minute 26.324. Sami Siivonen from Finland, the Audi, minute 29.178. Kunihiko Bando, minute 29.272. Richard Perini and Gustav Bergstrom rounding out the 5 in the Pro-Am category. Fantastic. All eyes on track for the SUPERLAP shootouts. It really is this high-intensity part of the weekend. Nathan MORCOM now. We are in the GCG Turbos, celebrating 40 years. SUPERLAP shootout. Nathan MORCOM up in sector number 1. This amazing Evo as he punts it through for his final flyer of the weekend. Puts it through, minute 32.027. It was good at the beginning and at the end there, Ian.
Yeah, he's quite a talented driver, young Nathan. He's been running in the TCR series under the Hyundai brand, and he's done a lot of GT stuff, and yeah, he certainly knows his way around a racetrack.
So does this guy, Nicholas Bates, of course, the V-Sport Toyota 86. Just not your average Toyota 86 engine. Listen to this thing, the VK56 Nissan.
Listen to it, 5.6 litre.
I just love World Time Attack. Oh, where's he gone? Where's he gone?
Yeah, that's what I said, Chris. These changing track conditions are going to catch some of these drivers off guard, you know, and they'd be really careful.
It was looking and sanding good just till turn 2, and then just could not pull it up in time. But still, hats off to Nicholas Bates for making it into the SUPERLAP shootout with an amazing machine. And it is so good to see. Now on board with Rob Newen, of course, Mr. Mighty Mouse. Got the little mouse there on the dash, but it's the Dream Project Sylvia. What a debut, Ian. Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, these guys have worked round the clock on this car to make it. And the presentation on this car is second to none. It's a car built by GD Auto Garage in Queensland and really shows the passion of Charles Walden, the guy behind this, and putting Rob Newen in there, who's extremely talented driver. This is one to watch in the future. This is just the beginning for this car.
Yeah, he is no slouch behind the wheel. I mean, he is bulletproof when he was driving Mighty Mouse. I mean, he would do things in the car that you can't normally do, but now it's a completely different kettle of fish. And
once again, I said those changing track conditions. Look, he's not happy with himself there, Rob. You know, he was at one stage he ran in Formula 3000 over in Europe, and he was tipped to actually be heading to F1, but yeah, he never had the funding to do it. He's always privately funded, so.
Oh, look, that's a shame. He was on a fly there, just could not get that thing around the corner. And all it takes is just one particular part of the track where you don't get that grip back. And that was one of them. All right, here's a man that only knows 110%. Matt Longhurst. He's made so many highlights reels already for some of his excursions, but this beautiful billet RB sounds the beast.
Yeah, this is 1,200 horsepower. It's got the best of everything, you know, and he's back year upon year. And, you know, he's an amateur driver, but, you know, his thrill is mixing it with the big boys. It's certainly what open class is all about. And, you know, you can see, yeah, he's pushing this very hard.
Minute 35.74, but that thing was bouncing all over the place. Here's Brad Shields, this GDR. Gee, you know what? We've seen some tough GDRs in our own local touring car championship back in the late 80s, early 90s. Look what we've done with the GDR since then.
Yeah, this car is a work of art. To see this up close, you know, it really is show car quality, and it's run by a family-run operation, the Guy family from Canberra, and yeah, it really is. It's just pure passion for these guys, and yeah, looks like they're going to take it out this year, and congratulations to that team.
Yeah, so no one could have beat Brad Shields' attempt, but on the SUPERLAP shootout, it's always about trying to go a little bit harder if you can, and he's certainly pushing. Now, this is where Rob Newen could get around the corner. It's still a little bit loose through there. Shields is up.
Yeah, he's a very underrated driver, this guy. You know, he's certainly showing his talent this weekend, and yeah, it looks like with the sector times up, they're going to take this out this weekend.
Just letting that beautiful Nissan six-cylinder breathe a little bit for you folks at home. And it's just what it's all about. Sight, sound, smells, and aero. That is what World Time Attack is all about, and looking good for Brad Shields here. Oh,
incredible, he's using the whole track, you know. The thing is, we don't run track limits per se like for instance, other categories do. So, yeah, it's get out there. Look at those brakes glowing, Chris. They're really pushing this hard.
Yeah, this is one of those 110% boost turn to 11 deals for Brad Shields. Final lap of the weekend. It is absolutely amazing to see that Extreme GDR climb to the top of the podium and take it home.
And they've done it.
28.114, the only guy that's gone quicker during the SUPERLAP shootout in these conditions, Ian.
This will be an emotional time down in that garage, I can tell you. These guys have tried for years, and they've finally done it.
They've finally cracked it. Brad Shields, Matt Longhurst, Rob Newen and Stephen Johnson. That's a Nissan whitewash. And how about that? A Nissan V8 powered 86 for Nick Bates in 5th.
That's it, yeah. It was awesome to get the fastest lap of the whole weekend in the shootout, so pretty cool way to end the weekend. Such an awesome result for the team. As you can see, they're pretty happy, so they've worked so hard for this, so just so happy for the team.
Yes, look, you've got to have a little bit of fun factor there too. If you don't laugh, you cry in this game, Ian.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's incredible scenes down in the Extreme Garage, and yeah, these guys are going to be pretty emotional too, I can tell you. They're a long way from home.
From Salt Lake City, Utah, Life Motorsport, Cole Powelson through Armando, Maximum Attack, pushing the R35. It's clearly the heaviest car in the open category and pro categories. That platform, you just cannot get light. But that VR38 makes plenty of horsepower, comes out of turn 2 nicely. His ultimate goal is to try and go minute 20-something. That's what they're here to try and do.
Yeah, he told me, you know, they know they're no chance of winning, Chris, but they come out here and they want to be the world's fastest R35, and I think they're going to be that. You know, it's hard to argue.
Absolutely. They're the only guys really giving it a crack in the time attack wars. They're coming to Sydney, Australia. Cole Powelson, he's not up in the first sector, but he's certainly trying hard out there. He's pushing. Oh, he's push. Oh, and he just could not pull it up on that corner. And oh boy, you can say he was giving it 110%, but just not pulling it up. Let's have another shot through here. No, he's still having a bit of a crack here, but I'd say that run you'd have to abandon. It was such a good one up till then. And the Albans app should replay. Cole, all the power out here. Horsepower's not a problem with this car. It has got plenty, but you've also got to pull up that weight as well, and he's just late on the brakes, couldn't get the thing around. It looked good there, but then just washed out too much to the outside corner, and yeah, you're lucky not to clip a bit of your splitter off there. All right, Andre Heimgartner, there is something about the Hammerhead that just says attack.
Yeah, Murray Coote and the MCA Hammerhead, they've been around since the early days, and it's certainly one of the iconic cars of World Time Attack Challenge, and Heimgartner's doing remarkably well in his first go here, I can tell you.
Flying through Armando there, maximum attack. You can see the sparks flying off the bottom of the skid plates for the carbon fibre front wings, and the Hammerhead now through turn 2, keeps it nice and tight. It's all about trying to limit the oversteer here. It's got so much horsepower, it's not funny.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the changing track conditions are going to make it very hard for him to set a record lap now, but looks like he's still on it. You know, he's not going to give up.
That billet SR20 Nissan engine making over 1,000 horsepower.
It's a Barry Lock design car. You can see that ex-McLaren F1 designer. They all look very similar in their design, with the big front wings and a sort of inverted aero at the back.
Making all the right noises through here, Heimgartner, so not up in Sector 1. Let's see how he is for Sector 2. It looked pretty smooth and clean, but is it fast enough? This one is not really a fan of any setup here at Sydney Motorsport Park. That turn 8, plenty of horsepower out of here, and this is a beautiful flow, one corner to the other. Just make sure you don't wash it out too much on there. It looks pretty good through there, very settled. Is he at 110% or not? We'll have to see. Andre Heimgartner on a flyer on the SUPERLAP shootout. Oh, minute 22.374. Could not improve on his previous 21 that he's run with the car this weekend, but you know what? It was a nice attempt considering the conditions on the track. They are changing here.
Yeah, and you know what? That was, you just saw the whole Coote family in the shot there. They're still a very tight family-run team with, you know, just helped by friends, and it's quite remarkable what they can do.
All right, here he is, the man that is on top of the podium again in 2019. Maximum attack through Armando. Oh, he's fearless in that car. That is an absolute landlocked missile. Now there's an ultimate goal here. Can he be the fastest vehicle around Sydney Motorsport Park on this lap? He's just got to go minute 19.1 something. He's only got to get another 10th off what he's run with the minute 19.27 before.
Don't these cars with all the sparks flying out remind you of the old F1 days? You know, it's quite remarkable, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible just how much downforce is on display here. Horsepower as well. I mean, this big billet 4-litre engine designed and built in Finland. Here it is in RP968. Undoubtedly the world's baddest time attack car.
You know, and when you ask Bart, so what's it like to drive, Bart, he said, mate, it's insane.
And when you ask the owner, Rob Poversteck, what was the whole mission about this car, he said, I wanted something cool, I wanted something fast. Well, you can tick all those boxes. RP968 is indeed that, and an undisputed world champion.
He's certainly a visionary, Rob Poversteck, doing this project. You know, he's guided the thing the whole way through, and it really is a credit to him and everyone involved in it. You know, Sammy Diasonis, the aerodynamicist, Bjorn, the suspension tech, and all the guys at PR Technology, and yeah, it's just incredible.
Here comes the last flying lap of the event for Barton. He goes minute 19.90. So couldn't quite wrap a few tenths up there, but you know what? These conditions, that's still damn impressive. Minute 19 anything at Sydney Motorsport Park. You know you've seen something fast. The tail of the tape for Royal Purple Pro Class 2019. Barton Mawer, Andre Heimgartner and Garth Walden. Team Sweden, Alex Danielson in 4th, and Team USA, Cole Powelson in 5th.
Yeah, you know you got a fast car when you're disappointed in 19. So I honestly thought I was actually finally flat to it for our ethos through turn 1, but I think I lost a bit of time at 4-5. So I was really hoping we could go quicker. We certainly wound everything up to do that, but not quite the conditions. But we just give it a go every time and still end up winning the event. Still pretty good.
Congratulations to all of our podium finishers for all of our categories, including HALTECH Club Sprint. So good for Jabal Assad to clean it up this year, and a worthy winner indeed. So Jamal and the Evo on top this year. What about Brad Shields in the Extreme GTR? A Nissan 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's so good to see. Very popular win for the Extreme GTR in that open category. And the Pro-Am category, Well, Kostya, the tilted Evo, he said that rebuilding this car after his incident was therapy. And how good does this therapy feel when you can clean up with a Pro-Am Cup back in 2019? The Tilton comeback is complete. And what can you say about this team, this car, this driver? It is the perfect time attack package, and at this stage is going to be the car forever to try and beat around Sydney Motorsport Park. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Ian Baker. World Time Attack Challenge thanks to Yokohama, run and done in 2019, and we look forward to 2020 for the ongoing pursuit of that one perfect lap.
Coming up after the break, we head to the Cross Circuit in the UK for rounds 10 to 12 of the British Touring Car Championship.